Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast. Harvey reminded me it is a podcast. I am joined by Harvey Freed, the host of the radio show, the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate and Business Show, heard every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 on 97.1. Good morning, Harvey Freed.
Good morning, Harry. Good morning to everybody.
As always, the podcast and the radio show are brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, equal housing lender. And MLS number is 2289. And Harvey Freed, here we are, pre-Thanksgiving, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I'm wearing my scarf, Harvey. It is cold outside. We're going to be joined by Lisa Lawson in a minute. I see Lisa getting on. Good morning, Lisa Lawson. How are you? There she is. She's just getting it on there right there. Hi, Lisa Lawson. There she is. So we're joined by Lisa Lawson. I was mentioning to Harvey, Lisa, pre-Thanksgiving, I got my scarf on. It is cold outside. I got to tell you, very, very cold. Getting cold.
Too cold for me yesterday. I didn't like that.
There you go. Well, we're in the middle of it here. And, we do this podcast right in the middle of the week, every week, to give everybody the update, what's going on currently in the current week from the previous week and what the future holds. But we're going to call the podcast in the middle of it today, Harvey, because we are in the middle of it. And as you know, you took a well-needed little rest, a little vacation. You went to Las Vegas, Nevada. We'll just call it Vegas because everybody calls it Vegas. It was hopping out there, right? No signs of slowing down, even with COVID going strong. The numbers are up here in Michigan. What does that mean? I don't know. It just means that, you're going to, if you don't get it, it's going to be like the flu. We're going to be looking back at this and saying, yes, it was a pandemic and there's a vaccine and there's booster shots. And every year you have to get your flu shot. But Harvey Freed, you were in crowded Vegas last week, but the real estate market out there is going nuts.
Yeah, inflation, recession, those are big words. I'm not sure who it's affecting, but I think it's the hardworking middle class people that are really feeling the brunt end of it. There's no doubt that the second home purchase, the vacation home market has been flourishing. I was talking to a couple locals there and talking about some real estate, and they said their prices have gone up 30 to 60% in some areas. Harry, we were out there years ago together in Henderson, an up-and-coming city, and not like any other metropolitan city, the outskirts, the town next door to it, they were just flourishing, and then it all shut down out there. And then they really took it on the chin quite bad in 2008, 9, and 10, probably till about 2014, before families decided that Vegas was this great area to retire in. And I got to tell you, Harry, it only gets down to 50, maybe 60 in the wintertime out there. Another great place in the country to look for, maybe a second home. And what leads us to Black Friday coming up, we got Black Mortgage Friday coming up, Harry, where if you want to buy a house in today's market, headed into the holiday season, you got to have that strong approval letter. And I think we should talk a little bit about that.
We will. And as mentioned, Harvey, on the show last week, and getting right into Lisa Lawson's wheelhouse, 2022 Lisa Lawson, as cited by the National Association of Realtors, by the Mortgage Bankers Association, by economists, all citing 2022 as another strong purchase year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if, a lot of people were sitting on the fence, they were kind of having this wait and see mentality. Let's see what's going on. They hear these horror stories of all these multiple offers and they don't want to get into a bidding war. Well, a lot of that's cooled down a little bit. I mean, it's still a phenomenal market, but you can get into a home and not go get into a bidding war at this point. This is really kind of the sweet spot here as things kind of get cooled down. Not everybody wants to move in the winter. And this is the time to do it. Just, get ahead of the game. Because when spring hits, it's going to get crazy again, and you're going to be kind of up against that same thing that you've been. So you've got a little bit of time here to get into the house of your dreams without kind of going extra crazy.
Yeah, the quote from the National Association of Realtors economists said all markets are seeing strong conditions and home sales are the best they've been in 15 years. The housing sector's success will continue, but it will not exceed this past year or the year before. It'll probably continue to be just as strong. So we're seeing that coming up. Now, coupled with that, and the reasons, everybody says, why? How can you say that, Harry, Lisa, Harvey, all these experts coming on saying it? Well, it's pretty good to go back and just dissect the math. The why is it the home sales are rising as inventory is falling. Okay. So if you do the math, if there's a strong market and inventory is falling, Harvey Freed, that means there's strong buyers out there. And as you mentioned, you got to be pre-approved, but there's no shortage of buyers. We took a poll last week, Harvey, and we talked to all of our realtor partners, and we said to them, Harvey, how many houses could you sell right now if there were homes on the market? They said they have no shortage of buyers, Harvey.
Yeah, not at all, Harry. We're seeing, I don't know, maybe marriage is coming back into play, and couples are getting together at a younger age and considering making that home purchase. Whatever the dynamics are that are, of course, we know the number one dynamic, low interest rates. So that sparked a lot of interest starting in 2019 with COVID. And we're continuously seeing those low interest rates. Again, the interest rates we have now are very similar to 2 years ago, very similar, which was the beginning before COVID kicked in, which was the beginning of this home buying frenzy. So no shortage of buyers out there, that's for sure.
No shortage. And Lisa, rents are rising across the country. Okay. So rents are rising because there's a demand for housing, and why line somebody else's pockets? Buy a house. I mean, the time is now to buy a house, or at least go looking for a house. And we know that home ownership for most people is the best way to build personal wealth. Home equity is at all-time high, Lisa.
Yeah, landlords are smart, right? They're usually business minded. And I have clients right now, actually one, unfortunately, sends me an email a couple days ago. My landlord is going to be ending the lease. They're not renewing. He would like me out early. He's listing his home. And of course, the landlord has written his contract that he can sell his house at any time. She wasn't planning on moving until the summer. So she's like, I have to move now. I have to start looking, because landlords want to get in on this too. There's a ton of equity. They want to cash that out. They want to make a buck, right? So this is all the more reason that if you have it in your wheelhouse or you've been thinking about doing this in the next year or two, to evaluate it right now. There's a ton of equity. You could be one of those people in a year or two cashing out your own equity, but you got to purchase first. You got to own the home.
Yeah, well, Harvey and Lisa, let's do some math. You're good at math and you could do it in your head. So I had to write it down. Okay. But if it's a $200,000 purchase price and somebody's going to put, just say 5% down, and the mortgage amount is going to be approximately $190,000.
That's correct.
Even if rates, okay, and I did it at the high, and you guys know my business philosophy. If a payment works at the high, it works at the low, right? So if mortgage interest rates are 3.99%, 4%, which they're not, they're in the 3.25% range right now. But let's say they even went up to 3.99%, 4%. With taxes and insurance, Harvey, instead of paying somebody $1,200, $1,300 a month in rent, you can own a house, right?
Yeah, the math shows that, Harry. I did just 190 at 4% on a 30-year is $906.30 principal and interest. So you might want to include maybe some PMI, the taxes, the homeowner's insurance, the 4 facets of what your house payment is. And definitely it's going to be probably less than what your landlord wants for that same house. So that's the one thing we've been talking about. And over the last 3 years, crazy amount of appreciation. Probably somebody that bought a house for $200,000 here in 18, that house could be $250,000, $260,000 today. That's an outrageous amount of appreciation and equity. So it's giving those families, like Lisa said, maybe some equity you could take out and consolidate some old bad debt, pay off student loans. But furthermore, you can refinance your mortgage, get rid of the mortgage insurance, maybe even drop the term of your loan and even pick up a lower interest rate. So those are all really good positive things just based on the low interest rates.
So Lisa, we just gave an example, and we always say the math doesn't lie. Somebody's got to get with their mortgage professional with Capital Mortgage Funding at 1-800-LOW rate. You got to call us. 30 years, over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, we have saved hundreds of thousands of families millions of dollars. Okay, save them. And you know what? I don't know what this 5-star thing is. Like if we have over 100,000 clients, which we do, and only 1% gave us a strong rating, okay, what's that number? That's a lot. That's a lot of great reviews. And I'm just saying that because the math doesn't lie. The amount of years of experience that we have in doing the math for people to show them that owning a home is far superior than renting. Just in his example, in the aforementioned example, Lisa, you sit down with people every day, you do the math. Why are we waiting? I mean, they're not, even if rates, we did it at rates going up 0.75% to 3.99%, 4%, you're still saving money. So there is no reason to wait. Rates are going to go up again, Lisa. They're going up. They're going to continue to go up. Don't wait. What are we waiting for?
I have 2 clients this week. They were like, I want to just take a look-see again. What are rates doing? They were looking at it in September. There was a couple sweet spots we know in September. They chose not to pull the trigger because they thought it was going to get better. And of course, they're worse. They're considerably worse. I can't even get the rate that we had then, you know, and one was a 10-year, one was a 20-year. So shorter terms, but
Oh, we lost your volume, Lisa.
You're on the mute button. Hit mute. Lisa, unmute yourself. Lisa hit the mute button by mistake.
Lisa, hit the mute.
Oh, boy. All right, Harvey. Well, that leaves me and you here. So what we're talking about is no reason to wait. The rates are actually higher than in April. What does that really mean? It means that, and everybody likes when I give the example in 1966. Why in 1966? Well, in 1966, rates were at 4.25 on a 15-year fix. You can look it up, check it out. I happen to know because that's when my parents bought our house in 1966. And being in the mortgage and banking industry for a long time, I went back and checked their paperwork. So it was a 4.25 interest rate in 1966. So rates are certainly not that high. And it's no big deal if they went that high because we're all spoiled. For the last 30 years, it's been a rate decreasing environment from double digit 12.5%, 13%, 1988, 1989. How do I know that, Harvey? I bought a house in 1988 and it was 12.5%. So these are all facts. To now in the mid to low threes on a 30 and the mid twos, I said twos on a 10 and 15 years. So there's no reason to wait. So we're giving historical numbers backed up by facts and applying it to current market conditions, which is what we do. Harvey, Mortgage News Daily reports, we're reporting that there's no reason to wait to refinance. Lisa just talked about it. She has people calling her back right now saying, hey, I want to pull the trigger, but I want the rate that you quoted me 60 days ago. Harvey, what are you telling your clients?
Well, obviously, we don't want to share bad news with them, but these mortgage rates, it's not like the cost of goods. I don't see the cost of goods going down. Inflation, cost of goods go up. I spoke this morning with my cousin Ari and from Frieds of Windsor, and the cost of suits are going up and ties and material items. So this is one of the strange things in the world that you can control. You can lock in your rate for 30, 20. These are long-term loans, 10, 15-year fixed rates. You know what your cost of your house is going to be. Now, of course, you can sort of calculate what your insurance might increase a little bit. Your property taxes hopefully will increase as your home appreciates in value. But the key is, this is one of the things in life you can lock in. Like, I'd like to lock in maybe the gas price at $3 a gallon, if possible. We just don't see things like that going down in the future. So again, one of the few things in life that you can lock in is a mortgage. Take advantage of.
Harvey, I'm glad you brought up gas prices and inflation and everything. And I'm going to go to Lisa. Lisa, their jobs report came out this morning. We've had the lowest number of unemployment claims and joblessness since before the pandemic came out this morning. I contend, and this is just a Harry Glanz math kind of thing, because I'm a nerd like that. I'm a numbers geek. I'm an analytics geek. I like the numbers, but the numbers are lying right now. Harvey Freed and Lisa Lawson, I don't believe there's a reason why prices should go up. I believe that big companies and gas prices, there's no reason why gas should be as high as it is. There is no reason for that. People are taking advantage of it. Because if you go to the high price stores in the mall, people are lining up to spend a ton of money. People have money. They're spending money. Okay. They're gainfully employed. If you're looking for a job, you should have no problem finding a job. People are spending money. So companies are taking advantage. Like you said, goods and services. Most companies don't want you to understand that their profit margins are thicker because they're taking advantage of all these people spending a lot of money, and the jobless claims are down, and that's proving that. So, Lisa, I'm going to tell you, no reason the prices should be up on gas. There's no reason why these prices should be up, other than the fact that the profit margins are going higher. How does that translate to what we do? It translates that people are out there buying homes, and it translates to the fact that right now, home prices, you're going to see them going up. Even if they came down a little bit, or even if you're buying at the top of the market now, and let's say in 2 or 3 years, the market levels off, isn't it still a great time to buy a house, save money, and get in right now? Because you don't know what's going on in the future. I contend that there is no time like the present to do anything. And if you're waiting around, I think you're missing the boat here.
Right. I mean, even like you said, if it levels off in a couple of years, what's the harm? You bought an amazing house, you still had a bit of appreciation, and you got a phenomenal rate, because it's not going to be that rate in a couple of years. If you try to buy that house in a couple of years, the rate's going to be higher, the payment's going to be higher. So what is the harm? Everyone's so worried about top of the market. They don't want to pay top dollar for a house. Well, you know, almost everybody at some point, you pay full price for something in your life, right? And then that thing eventually appreciates. So especially with your home, and yes, especially if it's your primary residence, and yes, you have to be smart about it, but it's still, you want a great home to live in. You know, there's something about it. It's not always transactional, you know, unless you're buying investment properties. You want to live in that home, enjoy it with your family, especially during this pandemic when you're stuck in your house, probably more than ever, right? And really enjoy that and make the memories that you can there. So when you do sell it in, 10, 15 years or whatever works out for you guys, not only have you made a little profit, you've had, a good decade or two of memories made there.
Yeah. Speaking of making memories, Harvey, this weekend, and Lisa, is Thanksgiving weekend. You got the 3 F's, right? Right. Friends, family, and football going on this week. Friends, family, and football. We want everybody to be safe, but we have a lot to be thankful for.
Food.
Oh, yeah. Well, I forgot about food. All right, friend. That's the 4 F's. Okay, that's good. 4 F's, friends, family, food, and, of course, football. We got a couple big games coming up, Harvey Freed. Michigan plays Ohio State. Ohio State comes into the big house. I know Lisa's an alum, and Harvey, you have families that are serious alums. One of your cousins played football for the University of Michigan a couple years ago. He's now in medical school, and we wish all the best for the Wolverines. You cannot root for Ohio State. I don't care if you're a Michigan State Spartan. You can never root for Ohio State. It just can't happen. Harvey, so what are you going to be doing this Thanksgiving? I know you have a lot to be thankful for.
Well, here at the end of my fall cleaning means I might get in the gutters and clean out some leaves out of the gutters. But I always like a reminder on the household side is to take care of those winterization type items. And again, with me, it has to do with the gutter cleanup, maybe bringing in some leftover patio furniture. Other than that, Harry, I like the 4 F's: football, food, friends, and
family.
Okay.
There you go. Lisa Lawson, what do you have to be thankful for this year?
Well, I'm very, very thankful. I've got, healthy friends, healthy family, a great work family here at Capital Mortgage Funding. I'll be spending my Thanksgiving cooking because everybody comes to my house for Thanksgiving. So it starts when I get home tonight. I'll be starting my cheesecakes and making those and a few other things. I'll be cooking all day tomorrow, and then everyone will come over in the afternoon for a huge Thanksgiving dinner. And then all my family comes over. We've got plans to watch the game, and then all my family descends and helps me decorate my home since I have Christmas at my house as well. So it's a weekend filled with a lot of football fun and family.
Love that, Lisa. And also, I want to let everybody know that the man behind the curtain is Roberto Beauchene. We're thankful for him every week. He produces and directs our podcast and our radio show every week on 97.1 FM. And here at Capital Mortgage Funding on the podcast. We're going to have no show this weekend because we're going to be celebrating Thanksgiving and with the 4 F's. And as a holiday tradition, Harvey Freed and Lisa and Roberto, I got to go to the Lion game. I got to do it. I do it every year. Take 10 people to the Lion game. Well, got to do it. I know everybody's shaking their head. Why do you go? You got to go. It's part of the tradition here. I don't want them to take away the game. I know it is painful for people to watch some years all around the country, but we love going, and it's a lot of fun just being with your friends and family at the Lion game. Also, I'm thankful that we have the work family that we have. The work family here at Capital Mortgage Funding for over 30 years is the best in the business. Everybody says, Harry, how can you say they're the best mortgage banker? Well, we trademarked that back in 1994 because our clients back then, they didn't have 5-star reviews back then, Harvey and Lisa. So our people actually had to tell us, you're the best, you're the best, you're the best. So we decided we're going to trademark it. Capital Mortgage Funding, the best mortgage banker. That is a true story, and that's what happened. Also, have a lot to be thankful for, that you're healthy, that we have a place to come every day, that we can help and save people money when they buy a home, when they refinance their home. And if you can't save money, what are you in the business for? So we help people save money. We give great advice. And again, that's what our clients tell us. You give great advice. I've been blessed to do a radio show with Harvey Freed for going on 23 years. We started the radio show to be consumer advocates for people to call in. Now they text us. Now they email us and say, hey, what do we do when we buy a home? Should we refinance? Should we take money out to pay toxic debt? Over the years, we have a very strong record of giving very, very solid advice. So listen, I got to tell you, for Roberto Beauchene, John Cole, Becky Alley, our entire staff here, and especially Harvey Freed and Lisa Lawson, we have a lot to be thankful for. Listen, happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Please enjoy it with your family and friends. Of course, football, food. Just be safe out there, and we'll see you next week. Thank you, everybody.